gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Eric Deters Show. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Consulting Company as well as Parks Yoga. Check us out on all of our platforms. We're kicking fanny. All right, Donald Trump. He's the story, right? He's going to be the story for a while. I just got back from my trip from down in Mar-a-Lago. I want to thank Jamie Spindley for filling in for me yesterday. The videos that I've done from that trip, including yesterday morning, I think the live FaceTimes with like 40,000 views. So obviously there's a lot of interest in this. But Donald Trump is carrying on. There's no question beyond anybody's speculation that this is a weak case. I mean, you have his enemies admitting the case is weak. You got John Bolton admitting that the case is weak. You know, I want to make a brief comment about Trump's remarks that he gave. You know, he laid out very well the laundry list, and I've done it too, but the laundry list of prosecutions and persecutions of him, and they went nowhere. They go nowhere. The most prosecuted man in the country. And guess what? His poll numbers are going up. His fundraising is going up. And still you have people silent about it. Mitch McConnell, silent on it. Of course there's silence on it. All right, this is big, big news. Bobby Kennedy Jr. This is Bobby Kennedy's oldest son, RFK Jr. God love him. He's got that voice issue. He has lived an incredible, tough life. I think he had a heroin addiction at one time that he beat. He lost his father. He became the head of the family. But you talk about a guy who, in my opinion, has matured and seasoned with time and has done some wonderful things. Now, he still is a Democrat liberal, but I would classify him more along the lines of the Jimmy Carter liberal, which is the liberals that we got along with just fine because we knew we all loved the country. But the big issue for this guy, and he's been part of the Children's Defense Fund, I think he's the head of it. The big issue with this guy is the vaccine problems. Fluoride in water. You become a kook about this stuff. He wrote an amazing book, which Dr. Charles Mellman gave me, about Fauci in the White House. But this guy has stood up against these COVID vaccines. So he has an incredible issue, an incredible base to run against Joe Biden. Joe Biden, just think about this, folks. He now faces a primary against a Kennedy. A guy named Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I mean, this is serious. And you know what? He could win. I mean, can you imagine him debating Biden about the vaccine? He could be a one-issue candidate and give Biden fits because of the vaccine. So it's going to be interesting. And you have to wonder, again, I always like to speculate behind the scenes. What if he decided to do this? Is the Kennedy family all in? I don't know. Interesting. Chicago mayor. We got a new mayor while I was gone. His name is Brandon Johnson. Law enforcement supported the guy, but he's for illegal aliens voting. It's got Chicago. What a nightmare, man. What do they say? You get the government you deserve? I don't know. Bud Light continues to just get pummeled. See the Kid Rock video? Shooting up the Bud Light. They get a trans man. Okay, he's a man, claiming to be a woman. That's his trans direction. And he's on the cover of Bud Light. He is on the beer can. This guy. Whatever happened to that line they had? Something man, a genius. Now they're woman with the rhyme. It's crazy, isn't it? Massey, Thomas Massey returned Trump's endorsement with an endorsement of Ron DeSantis. When will our president, by the way, this is a criticism. You think I never criticized Donald Trump? I do. Donald Trump gets deceived. and used over and over and over and over again. I don't get it. I don't get it. Should have known better. Should have endorsed Claire Worth. Taiwan. Kevin McCarthy met with the president of Taiwan in California. China gets all fired up. I did a Facebook Live video about this last night. Taiwan is probably getting ready to fall. They take care of like 90 some odd % of the microprocessors in this country. I mean, in the world. I mean, just would be devastating if China took them over. And the reason why I say that, I'm going to give you the 30-second version, is because China looks to see what Russia's able to get away with aggression. Took Georgia province, took Crimea. You know, we didn't do anything to stop them in Ukraine. Talk. Nike, back to Dylan Mulvaney. This, talk about a woman who's cleaning up. Now she's going to help sell Nike stuff. When you see part of the American commentary how woke these companies. Anheuser-Busch, by the way, people forget about this. The Bush family sold this to the big Belgium brewer. Just so you know, Anheuser-Busch is now controlled by a European country. Just so you know, people forget that. It's not an American company anymore. Stormy Daniels, she says she wants to testify. You know what? I put this up. I'm talking about Stormy Daniels for one reason. One thing I want to say. Because, you know, all the attacks on Donald Trump. What kind of a human being, okay? What kind of a human being? Now, she wants to be a porn star. That's her, you know, what the heck. I'm not even going to judge her character for being a porn star. Although, let's face it, that's a hell of a, God, you know, there's been plenty of studies about that, reports on that. The people that get in the industry, what they say afterwards, you know, the complete humiliation of it. I mean, just think about that, having sex partner after sex partner after sex partner on video for everybody to see. I mean, pretty degrading. But anyway, I'm not gonna comment on that. I'm not self-righteous. I'm a sinner, not a saint. I think I'm like every other American male. We've seen porn. I want to tell you something. What kind of a woman threatens? I think extortion is one of the most evil crimes there is. And the reason why is because it's terrorism. For her to have to be paid to keep her mouth shut. Now, Trump denies it. That doesn't mean there's not going to be some kind of payment because you're worried you're going to say something that's a lie that could hurt you. But let's just assume that it's true. Trump denies it. Let's assume it's true. What kind of a woman has to be paid to keep her mouth shut? Then, even after she paid, wants to talk. Stormy Daniels acts like, you know, she's this and all bag of chips. Like she's the good girl and all this. No, she's not. She's a first-class bitch. Wicked woman. Think about it. Stormy Daniels, porn star, takes money. She needs money to shut up instead of just doing the right thing and keeping her mouth shut. She has to take money, and then she wants to renege on it. Stormy Daniels, terrible human being, disgusting human being. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Coming up next, Bulldog TV local news. Ladies and gentlemen, American jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to Bulldog TV local news. We're sponsored by Deters Consulting, Parks Yoga, and check us out on all of our platforms. By the way, I've gotten a report that we are growing with Bulldog TV. More and more people are subscribing to Bulldog TV. So please subscribe to Bulldog TV. The top story today is something that I was going to do extensive, but I'm going to do it briefly. You know, Donald Trump is on the national stage, and it has now been spotlighted how corrupt the legal system is. I just want to speak to everybody in Kentucky and in Ohio, where I have full knowledge of how corrupt the legal system is. Now, you might want to say, well, what do you mean, Bulldog? Is it really corrupt? Having a corrupt system does not mean that there is not some good judges. It doesn't mean that there's not some good prosecutors. It doesn't mean that there's not some decent lawyers. But ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, there is no question, and as I pointed out on my Facebook live video last night where I spoke about this in more detail, there's a reason in the movie Devil's Advocate where Al Pacino plays the devil as a lawyer, where he tells Keanu Reeves that the devil chose the law because the law is in everything. And that means lawyers. Think about this. The legal system's made up of lawyers. Lawyers become prosecutors. Lawyers become judges. The bar associations, which are controlled by the big law firms, write the rules for the lawyers. And then what do lawyers do? They make law. Lawyers control legislators. Lawyers control Congress. Then they advise their clients. Lawyers control the world, folks. They control all the professions. And there is nothing more corrupt. You know why? Because the legal profession, there's no profession more interested than money, 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 money than lawyers. And then the whole system gets corrupted. Think about it, folks. Think about the people we know that went to jail that are innocent. How sick is that? So many times those prosecutors knew they were innocent. They wanted to put somebody in jail. How does a prosecutor sleep at night knowing he put somebody away in a prison cell who's innocent? Happens more than we know. You got a corrupt child protective agency. You know, can you imagine getting caught up in that system? You got a corrupt probation system where a probation officer runs your life, controls your life. They don't like you, look the hell out. My Facebook live video was about, one other one I did was about people aren't above the law. Yes, they are. All kinds of people above the law. They got immunity. Prosecutors are above the law. Judges are above the law. Chief justices of state Supreme Courts are above the law. Disciplinary councils of bar associations are above the law. They got immunity. You know that often used phrase by Lord Acton, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. When there is no accountability, you have corruption. When you have immunity and they know they can do whatever the hell they want, you have corruption. You have to be some kind of a moron, according to Stork in Animal House, to think that there's not bias, corruption, and law in the legal system. Really? You don't think judges are biased against certain lawyers? Different law firms get different people? You kidding me? Prosecutors? People are out to get you? Come on, folks. Look what's happening to Donald Trump. Look what's happened to me. Think of all the lawyers that you know who have done corrupt as hell stuff. Have you ever heard me committing some crime when I was a lawyer? Hell no. And I had to retire because of their crap. Charged with menacing, which is scaring somebody. How many times does that go on every day where somebody says, you better stop that, buddy, I'm going to kick your ass? I didn't even say that. Does that person get charged with menacing? No, because their name's not Eric Deters. See, that's what cracks me up. People are worried about, there's nobody above the law. Well, what about the people like Donald Trump and Eric Deters who get crucified on the altar of law for things that nobody else does? See, I'm not above the law. I'm far from it. I get mistreated under the law. I get treated worse, not better, because of who I am. And I'm the flamethrower, baby. You ever think of a lawyer? Do you know any lawyers or retired lawyers that speak out about the system like I do? No. Why? Because they're a bunch of chicken-ass wussies. That's why. But not me. So what do? I take the heat from that. Bring it on. I hate them all, folks. I hate them. Those of you who are big Christians say you shouldn't hate. Well, guess what? I've told you I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm a Christian man, but I hate. There are people that deserve my hate. Maureen O'Connor deserves my hate. Sharon Kennedy deserves my hate. Judge Mark Schweikert deserves my hate. They deserve hatred. What are we supposed to do? You know, sorry, turning the other cheek on those folks never is going to do anything. All right, let's get on to our next story. Long crime. 2 downtown Cincinnati schools had to lock down their facilities on Wednesday morning when they heard gunfire. 2 unidentified men were firing shots near St. Seraph Catholic School and Cincinnati Public Rothenberg Academy. One of the 2 men snuck into St. Seraph from a bathroom window and hid out in the basement. Cafeteria worker and the principal found the gunman and escorted him out of the school. No injuries reported. Thank God. 17 victims under the age of 18 have been shot in Cincinnati this year, according to recently released city data. The high number of young people shot has community and city leaders alarmed. Folks, I want to tell you something. I get so sick and tired of so-called community and city leaders getting alarmed. It's a bunch of crap, especially in the black community. The pastors and everybody comes together, you know, blah, 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 blah. But they never do anything because they want their black citizens to be prosecuted like Alvin Bragg prosecutes them. They want them to be let go. It's like paybacks are hell. We've been persecuted all these times. It's time that the black man can get away with anything he wants. And that includes here in Cincinnati. That's what we include in Cincinnati. These Democratic black folks will be all excited about Trump getting prosecuted for nothing. But by golly, they get revved up when there's anything happen. You know, George Floyd, for example. You know, what happened to George Floyd is unfortunate. But George Floyd was no saint. He didn't deserve to have what happened to him. But the way they took that to burn down cities, give me a damn break. They say nothing. They say nothing when a white man gets shot by a cop. Nothing. Oh, baby. The hypocrisy crack. You know what? Black leaders have failed across this country. They have failed every damn community that they claim that they work. You know what it's all about? It's all about their little power bases to be a black leader in these communities. Really? What have you, black leaders in Cincinnati, what have you done to stop this crap? Not a damn thing. Shame on you. Local news. Bud Light's new transgender spokesmodel, Dylan Mulvaney, has been all over the news this week with ties to Cincinnati. She graduated from UC in 2019. She. No, it's a he. Fine Arts and Musical Theater. Bud Light Mulvaney partnerships. By the way, Bud Light is just messing this up, man. Travis Tritt's kicking Bud Light off his tour bus. A recent survey has revealed what services Cincinnatians think are most important and how satisfied they are with the service. The service voted most important city streets, 72% labeling it high importance. Unfortunately, it's only 24% satisfaction. The Kentucky State News, a new Kentucky law is helping more domestic violence survivors keep themselves safe from abuser. Safe at Home Act puts more privacy protections in place and keep a victim's private information less accessible. Many Republicans have voiced their displeasure with the recent indictment, but not Mitch. He's been silent. Silent Mitch. Look at the turtle. Look at the old crow. Look at this guy. I'm telling you right now, it is exhibit A of what's terrible about politics. This man makes deals with Biden, spending all this money, and then he tells the Republicans at their Lincoln Day dinners, we need to get rid of Joe Biden because of increased spending. That's what politicians do. They speak out of both sides of their mouth. They lie. They say this one to this group, this to the other group. That's why I'm running for governor, folks. There's your chance. Indiana governor signed a bill on Wednesday banning all gender-affirming care for minors. Indiana will join 12 other states, including Kentucky, restricting or banning the care and procedures. The law will go into effect July 1st. Ohio State news. Nearly 1 year ago, Ohio legalized medicinal marijuana and awarded 73 licenses to applicants to open dispensaries. 1 year later, only 14 have successfully opened a location. Maybe it's because they ain't gonna make any money. Sports, the Flying Pig Marathon's expanding the field this year and adding a para-athlete division in all races for 2023. Reds and Cubs were rained out yesterday. Their game today versus Phillies is also moved to Friday because of Philadelphia's forecast. Coming up next, James Spindley, my man, doing world news.
Good day, Bulldog Nation. The latest world news. Indonesia police have arrested a village man accused of killing at least 12 people after several bodies were found buried in the man's garden. Mr. Tahari, aged 45, has been charged with the murder of clients at his home in central Java. At least 4 young children have been killed by a man with a hatchet in a kindergarten school in the city of Bulldogtv in Brazil. Another 4 children were injured by the 25-year-old man. The attacker has surrendered and is now in police custody. Wow, unbelievable, unbelievable. The latest violence comes just ahead of an overlap between the Islamic holy month of Ramadan and the Jewish Passover holiday. Militants in the Gaza Strip fired rockets at Israel, and its military carried out airstrikes in response. New plans for post-Brexit border checks on goods coming in the United Kingdom will deter many EU suppliers and push up food prices. Ministers are encouraging businesses to prepare the new regime ahead of the 31st of October start date. And in sports, Newcastle United thrashed West Ham 5-1 and my team Manchester United beat Brentford 1-0. Until tomorrow, cheerio.